so lovely. If my morals were less austere, I'd take it on myself.
You're an astonishing woman.
Thank you.
I'm only sorry you haven't sufficient confidence to give me my reward in advance.
Good night, Vicomte.
I wish I knew how to pick pockets. Why don't our parents ever teach us anything useful? Where do you usually meet?
In my room, sir.
And is she coming tonight?
Afraid so.
Then I think I shall have to burst in on you. See if blackmail will work better than bribery. About 2 o'clock suit you? I don't want to embarrass you. Will that give you enough time?
Ample, sir.
Good.
Then you won't have to pay her, sir, will you?
Oh, I think if she delivers, we can afford to be more than generous. Don't you?
It's your money, sir.
Don't worry, I shan't overlook your contribution.
That's very decent of you, sir.
Off you go, see you at 2.
Right, sir. I'll be sure to arrange her so she can't say she's there to borrow a clothes brush.
Here he is. I said he would be here.
Ladies?
Madame Couturier has some mystery to reveal to us.
To you, madame, to you.
Oh, then perhaps I should go for a walk.
No, it concerns you as well. I mean, it particularly concerns you. In fact, I must begin by asking you some questions.
Very well. Just let me help my aunt to her chair. Now,
Where did you go this morning, monsieur?
as you know, I was up early to go out hunting.
And did you succeed in making a kill this time?
No, I'm afraid I've had the most wretched luck ever since I arrived here. Also, I'm a terrible shot.
On this occasion, monsieur the Vicomte, what exactly was it you were hunting?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't quite follow.
You may as well own up, monsieur. I know exactly where you were this morning.
I think it's time somebody
I do
explained.
hope you haven't been listening to servants' gossip.
I can see Monsieur de Valmont is determined not to tell you, so I shall have to. There is a family in the village. The man has been ill. He found himself not able to pay his taxes this year. So this morning, the bailiff arrived to see if there are few sticks of furniture, whereupon your nephew, whose valet had been making inquiries in the village to see if anyone was suffering from particular hardship, arrived, paid off the family's debts, and added a generous contribution to help them back on their feet again.
Is this true, my dear?
Well, yes.
You dear boy, come and let me give you a hug. It's so like you to make a secret of something like that. We must visit this family in the morning, my dear, to see if we can help in any other way.
Yes, I'd like that.
I must try to find Mr. Computer. I shan't be long, but I do need to tell him before he leaves. He'll be so pleased.
I don't see how someone whose instincts are so generous could lead such a dissolute life.
I'm afraid you have an exaggerated idea, both of my generosity and my depravity. If I knew who'd given you such a dire account of me, I might be able to defend myself. Since I don't, allow me to make a confession. I'm afraid the key to the paradox lies in a certain weakness of character.
I don't see how so thoughtful an act of charity could be described as weak.
This appalling reputation of mine, you see, there is some justification for it. I've spent my life surrounded by immoral people. I've allowed myself to be influenced by them and sometimes even taken pride in outshining them. Whereas, in this instance, I've simply fallen under quite the opposite kind of influence. Yours.
You mean you wouldn't have done it?
Not without your example, no. It was by way of an innocent tribute to your goodness. See how weak I am? I promised myself I wouldn't say anything. It's just looking at you.
Monsieur!
You needn't worry. I have no illicit intentions. I wouldn't dream of insulting you. But I do love you. I adore you. Please help me. What is it? I shouldn't have said anything. I know I shouldn't. I'm sorry. But really, you've nothing to fear. Tell me how to act. Show me how to behave. I'll do anything you say.
I thought the least I could hope for was that you would respect me.
But I do. Of course I do.
Then forget all this. Don't say another word. You've offended me deeply. It's unforgivable.
I thought you might at least give me some credit for being honest.
On the contrary, this confirms everything I've been told about you. I'm beginning to think you may well have planned the whole exercise.
When my aunt invited me to stay, I had no idea that you were here. Not that it would have disturbed me in the slightest if I had known. You see, up until then, I had only ever experienced desire. Love. Never.
That's enough.
No, you made an accusation. You must allow me to defend myself. Now, you were there when my aunt asked me to stay, and at the time I only agreed in deference to her, although I was by no means already unaware of your beauty. The point is, this has nothing to do with your beauty. As I got to know you, I began to realize that beauty was the least of your qualities. I was fascinated by your goodness. I was drawn in by it. I had no idea what was happening to me, and it was only when I began to feel actual physical pain every time you left the room that I realized what was happening to me. I was in love, for the first time in my life. I knew it was hopeless, of course, but that didn't matter, because it wasn't like it always had been. It wasn't that I wanted to have you, no. All that I wanted was to deserve you.
I really will have to leave you, monsieur. You seem determined to persist with the line of argument you must know I ought not to listen to and I don't want to hear.
No, please, sit down. I've already told you. I shall do anything you say.
There's only one thing I would like you to do for me.
What? What is it?
But I don't see how I can ask you. I'm not even sure if I want to put myself in the position of being beholden to you.
Oh no, I assure you. If you're good enough to grant me the opportunity to do something for you, anything, it is I who shall be beholden to you.
Very well then. I would like you to leave this house.
I don't see why that should be necessary.
Let's just say you've spent your life making it necessary.
Very well. Whatever you say. I couldn't possibly refuse you. Will you allow me to give my aunt, say, 24 hours notice?
Yes, naturally.
I shall find something in my mail tomorrow which obliges me to return at once to Paris.
Thank you. I'd be very grateful.
Perhaps I might be so bold as to ask a favor in return. I think it only just to let me know which of your friends has blackened my name.
You know very well that's impossible, monsieur. If friends of mine had warned me against you, they'd done so purely in my own interest, and I could hardly reward them with betrayal, could I? I must say, you devalue your generous offer if you want to use it as a bargaining point.
Very well. I withdraw the request. But I hope you won't think I'm bargaining if I ask you to allow me to write to you.
Well,
And do me the kindness of answering my letters.
I'm not sure a correspondence with you is something a woman of honor could permit herself.
So you're determined to refuse all of my suggestions, however honorable.
I didn't say...
I don't see how you can possibly be harmed by conceding to me in this very minor, but, as far as I'm concerned, vitally important consolation.
I would welcome the chance to prove to you that what motivates me in this is not hatred or resentment.
But what?
God's sake, monsieur, please, leave me alone.
I only want to say to you what I hardly thought it would be possible to say. Goodbye. I thought that the Dutch were supposed to be famous for their capacity for alcohol.
2 bottles of cognac and a bottle of Burgundy would finish anybody.
Did he drink that much?
You were pouring.
Oh, well, I hope you're not missing him.
Don't be silly. I just don't think it was necessary for you to bundle him into your carriage.
Man in that condition, I thought it best to send him home to his own house.
This is his house.
Is it? I thought it was your house.
He owns it. I just live in it. And since he's so rarely in France, it seems a shame.
I'm sure my coachman will use his imagination.
I'm sure, since you're perfectly aware of the position, and have no doubt given him explicit instructions.
Explicit instructions?
Yes.
I must say, Emily, I do think it's the height of bad manners to talk about some foreigner while you're in bed with me. I think some appropriate punishment is called for. Turn over.
All right.
Now, do you have a pen